and salutations, my wonderful people. It's Bloody Jack from the Bloody Jack channel. If you like this video before this intro is over, I'll be your best mate. So without further ado, let's get right to the intro.
Is your path to be. We're all here just for all the fun. Now you're jamming hard, yeah. Hype it up all once again. Try to hype it up.
So, it's now the halfway point of the series. I'm going to do 51 to 60 of my top 100 video games, so without wasting any time whatsoever, let's go straight into the countdown. Kicking off this list, the Splatterhouse remake from 2010, which came out on PC, Xbox 360 and the PS3. It's a remake of the old NES trilogy, Splatterhouse. Well, I think it was just mainly on the Super NES. But the story is you play as Rick, who is a photographer, and him and his girlfriend Jenny. I think her name's Jenny. It's either Jenny or Jennifer. And basically she gets kidnapped by this evil mad scientist who's delusional over the fact that she looks like a reincarnated version of his wife. Basically, Rick is left there bleeding to death on the floor, but then he gets signalled by the Terror Mask, and once he dons the mask itself, it bounds itself to his head and turns him into a gigantic muscle-bound death machine, running around the whole mansion and loads of other random places in the world, destroying demons while listening to death metal through the whole game. It's fantastic. I managed to get loads and loads of gameplay out of this, and loads of replay value, especially with all the collectibles and everything. As someone who hasn't played the original trilogy on the NES, I think this is actually a fantastic game on its own. All the demon designs are pretty cool, the soundtrack's amazing, the gore is really well done. The controls are a little... I think it's probably because I have the 360 version, I haven't played the PC version yet, or the fact that I don't even own a PS3, I haven't even touched the PS3 version. It's a decent remake. Once you get all the upgrades in the game, you literally become the most untouchable thing in-game. It's very creative with all the glory kills. It's literally just a really good, gory, third-person action platformer, which basically, the original was basically just a side-scroller. The only downside to it is it's not backwards compatible. If you own the console version, it's not backwards compatible on anything. And also, it is available on Steam, I think, still. So if you're able to get it on Steam, go right ahead and then pick it up for yourself. But I would do a little bit of background research, or if you want, listen to just the soundtrack on its own, and I'm very sure that you'll get a really good experience out of it, or watch any gameplay footage you can find. I would highly recommend you would. Next, Team Fortress 2, which came out in 2007 on the PS3, Xbox 360 and PC. A game that has been in development hell since the 90s. From the original Team Fortress Classic, this game, there's not really that much story to it unless you read the comic books, which I haven't, unfortunately. I will probably get around to reading them at some point. But it's basically an online Battle Royale styled game, where you got two teams, red team and blue team, and you're either going to capture the flag, transport an explosive from one part of a map to the other, or just go for a free-for-all, like, all out. But, little background on the game. You play as 9 different characters. I don't have the mental strength in me today to actually say who is who, but I'm gonna try and list them off the top of my head. You got the scout, the heavy, the medic, the pyro, the spy, the engineer, I think I already said the sniper. Fuck it, it gets in there twice, and the soldier. And basically, you got the red versions of them and the blue versions of them, and they're just basically there doing what they can. If you want the easiest explanation on TF2 as a game in general, I recommend you guys look at the Honest Trailer version of it, which is on the Smosh Games channel. It's pretty funny. And even if you look at some of the promotional material for Team Fortress 2, it's been everywhere all over the past 13 years. If you want to get the console version of it, I recommend you guys get the orange box, which is on the PS3 and Xbox 360. It's backwards compatible on the Xbox One, I know for sure, because I have a copy of it. It's also free on Steam as well now, in case none of you actually know. But yeah, a little background about the game. Behind the scenes wise, the reason why it's been in development hell is because there's been like 6 different versions of the game, and they were all trying to establish what they wanted to do for the game. Then they decided we'll make some like shorts like as trailers to promote the game, and they got loads of speculations from fans. But by the time the orange box came out, fans went nuts over it, and I myself have been a part of that hype. But I did play most of the console version, mostly on the 360, because I didn't have the right software, like on a laptop or a PC whatsoever. But Team Fortress is a really good time to just kick back and chill, and also it's very popular on Gmod. Moving forwards, Final Fantasy 13-2, which came out in 2011 on the PC, Xbox 360 and PS3. I haven't played part 1 of 13-2, but I did enjoy it. It's what kind of got me back into the Final Fantasy series, somewhat. I can't remember most parts of the story, but because it's kind of phased in my memory, and plus I know it's backwards compatible on the PS4 and Xbox 360, and I think it may have an import on the Switch, I don't know. It's been years since I've played it, but the one thing I do remember I had the most fun doing is the monster hunting segments, where you can just go into the forests and hunt down loads of evil monsters and just gain experience points. But yeah, if you're a Final Fantasy fan, you've probably played 13-2. Or if not, I would say play 13-2 if you kind of want to get into the early early styled Final Fantasy games, like before 15. I'd say go for it. Next, Mortal Kombat, which came out in 1992 mostly in the arcades, but it did come out on the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo, and also it had a remake on the PS1, the PS2, the PS3 with the Combat Collection, and on the Xbox 360 and on PC. Mortal Kombat is a timeless game, but I'm talking about just the original Mortal Kombat because it's my earliest memory, well, my personal earliest memory of my earliest memory of playing fighting games. You play as a select number of characters. You got Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, Sonya Blade, Kano, Raiden, Scorpion, and Sub-Zero. And everyone knows the motto for Mortal Kombat: come for the gore, stay for the lore. It was a very controversial game at the time when it came out, because it was one of the most violent games ever made. And yeah, the fatalities on there for the 90s, it was pretty brutal. But when the home console version came out, they censored all of it, but you can unlock all the gore and a rumour of a nudity mode where it was all put through cheat codes. And also fatalities were designed there by accident to see if anyone would actually pull them off. If you play the original arcade version or the original home console version, like the Super Nintendo version or the Sega Genesis version, you'll have a hard time trying to figure out some of those moves, because it requires distance, timing, and the right combination. If you came into school back in those days with like a sheet of all the button combinations and distances on how to pull off a fatality, you would become a god around lunch tables or in the playgrounds. But yeah, the basic story is a bunch of guys come together every few generations or so to compete in the Mortal Kombat tournament to see who will become the protector of Earthrealm, or of the realm that they're from. You basically start off fighting every character in the game, but then you get to the mirror match, then you have a couple more fights, then you got to fight Goro, then you get to the top where you got to fight Shang Tsung, which is the biggest pain in the ass ever. Then you got the Mortal Kombat sequels where you got to fight like Mutaru and Shao Kahn. As the first of the series, it was really well done. It hit a landmark for Midway Arcade. And the fact that Mortal Kombat, even to this day, has hit a massive landmark in pop culture. We got a crap ton of sequels and spin-offs, including like Shaolin Monk, well, it's either Shaolin Monks or Shaolin Warriors. Then we've got like Mythology Sub-Zero. Then we've got like Mortal Kombat 11, which has just come out. And we got like loads of other media of Mortal Kombat, not just in video games. We've got loads of comic books, we've got some manga here and there. We've got a couple animated TV shows. We've got a bunch of Mortal Kombat movies and Mortal Kombat Legacy, the TV show, which was made by IGN, I think. But yeah, Mortal Kombat is a timeless classic, and if you want to get it, I'm very sure you can buy it somewhere on an online store, like on a console store, like on the Microsoft store or on the PlayStation store or on Steam or Epic Games or whatever it is you're using. Moving ahead, Rock Band 3, which came out in 2010. Now, when it comes to rhythm games, like proper rhythm games, with me it'd be really much of a mashup between Rock Band, Guitar Hero, Dance Dance Revolution, and Parappa the Rapper. But I chose Rock Band 3 for a specific reason. Although, as much as I love the original Guitar Hero games on the PS2, Rock Band 3 managed to expand a variety. So not only you're playing just the guitar, but you're also doing the vocals, the bass guitar, the keyboard, and drums. I have loads of fond memories playing Rock Band 3. You can get custom songs on, like really good custom songs through the in-game store. You can get all the DLCs for a pretty fair price, I guess. It's basically out on every console, apart from the Switch and the Wii U, to my knowledge. But yeah, it's a fantastic game to kill time. And if you just like to play, like pretend you're playing music, I highly recommend you guys play it. And plus, you can find some of your all-time favourite songs on there by your favourite artists as well. And you can make your own playlists and customise your own Rock Band character. Next, Rock Band Green Day, which came out in 2010 as well on the PC, Xbox 360 and the PS3. I was going to put this with Rock Band 3, but I thought this deserved a whole other level on its own. Mostly because I am a huge Green Day fan. I own all their albums, I own a few of their vinyls. I've seen them live. I know most of their songs off by heart. There's no point in me explaining on how much of a Green Day fan I am. But yeah, it covers the same bases of Rock Band as your other typical Rock Band games, because at the time Rock Band were experimenting with standalone artist titled the games. Like, they had Rock Band Green Day and like Rock Band the Beatles and so on. But Rock Band Green Day for me it's phenomenal, because I just love Green Day, and plus this covers some of Green Day's biggest albums, from their first proper studio album Dookie in '94 all the way to 21st Century Breakdown. The challenge mode is really good. I say campaign, but really you're just playing at all three stadiums, playing all their hits. And once you've beaten like the challenge mode and the somewhat campaignish type gameplay, you unlock like music videos, behind the scenes bits on their tours, and like loads of fantastic footage. Further on, Ghostbusters the video game, which came out originally in 2009 on the Xbox 360, PS3 and PC, PS2 and the Nintendo DS and the Wii. Then it got then the PC, Xbox 360 and the PS3 versions all got remastered for the Xbox One, PS4, Switch and PC. This technically acts as a Ghostbusters 3, taking place in 1991, if my memory serves me correctly, because if you guys have been watching my channel, you guys know I love Ghostbusters. I have seen the movie, like both of the movies, countless times. I've watched the animated TV series countless times. And you guys also know I'm making a playthrough on it, which I do need to get back to, because we're halfway through the game and I need to finish it off. But yeah, it has all the cast members in the it has all the cast members from the original movie: Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Howard Ramis, and Ernie Hudson, and Annie Potts, and also the guy that plays Walter Peck. But yeah, it's basically just your typical average life being a Ghostbuster, but you take on the role of the new recruit who doesn't really have a name. People just call him like the cadet or the new guy or rookie. But yeah, that's what you're known as, and you are you're basically the guinea pig for their new equipment that they start testing out in the field. Typical Ghostbusters fashion, I know. It has the same writing as the movies, which doesn't really surprise me because it was written by Howard Ramis, Dan Aykroyd, and Ivan Reitman. It's a fantastic game. If you guys want to get it, it's backwards compatible on the Xbox One and the PS4, or if you want, just get the remastered version, which is mostly a resolution update on it, but also adding more detailing on the textures and the gameplay, like tweaking the gameplay mechanics slightly. The game can be challenging at times, especially when you're being swarmed by enemies. But yeah, other than the slightly challenging difficulty, it's a great game. Moving it forwards, Aliens vs Predator, which came out in 2010 on the PS3, Xbox 360 and PC. It's a remake of a PC game, like from the ground up remake of a PC game, which came out in 1999. It's a fantastic game. You get 3 campaigns 4 technically. You have 4 campaigns: Predator, Alien, Marine, and the Survivor. The Predator one is pretty standard. You're basically playing as a new, young-blooded Predator whose objective is to go down to a planet and to get rid of the evidence of 3 young blood predators which have been killed by the aliens, and also you got to try and find the abomination alien, or the Predalien, or the hybrid if you know the lore. Then you got the Alien campaign, where you play as an alien which was imprisoned in one of Weyland-Yutani's facilities, and you're enlisted as subject number 6. Excuse me. And you're basically just going to try and make a new hive, playing as an alien, by mostly stealth mechanics. Then you got the Marine one, which is your typical first-person shooter. It's alright. I mean, the Marine campaign is the hardest one. Then it gets even harder when you play the Survivor campaign, which is basically the average Marine campaign, but the difficulty just increases. It's a fantastic game. It's backwards compatible. I think it should definitely deserve a remake. You can still get the Steam version for real cheap. The online servers, I think, are still up, so it has an online team deathmatch mode. It's possibly the best Alien vs Predator game out there, other than Alien vs Predator Extinction on the PC but I don't play RTS games, so I wouldn't really know. I've only seen the promotional footage for it, so yeah, I would highly recommend you guys play it if you're a fan of the Alien or Predator franchise. Next, we have Toy Story 3, which came out in 2011 on the PC, Nintendo Wii, DS, and I think I already said PC, yeah. It came out at the same time as the movie Toy Story 3. I think it's better than the movie. I'm sorry, I have to say it. Toy Story 3 isn't my favourite Toy Story movie. Bar none. But yeah, you play as Woody, Jessie, and Buzz. You kind of follow the plot of the movie, but also you kind of take part in the imagination of the kids, like Andy and Bonnie and other kids. I mean, there's a couple stealth missions here and there. The game has very good tight mechanics, and it has like a playbox area from, like, if you've played games like Disney Infinity, you would definitely know what I'm talking about, where you can create your own area. And you can unlock, like, new items, race tracks, do side quests, like gain experience and extra cash, and then build, like, a little town or whatever. It's great. It's a great way to kill time for me, because I found that really enjoyable. It's currently backwards compatible on the Xbox One. I don't know if it's backwards compatible on the PS4. I think the PC version is still available, or if it still exists. If you're a Toy Story fan, or a fan of anything Disney related, I would say you guys should definitely give it a try. It's almost as good as Toy Story 2 on the PS1. But yeah, moving forwards, Sonic Unleashed, which came out in 2009 on the PS3, PS2, original Xbox, Xbox 360, and Nintendo Wii, and I believe PC. It's my favourite Sonic game of all time. Like, no other Sonic game comes close. The fact that this is also a sentimental game to me, as it was the very first Xbox 360 game I ever owned. And it was the first Xbox 360 game I ever played and bought myself. Mostly by using birthday money. Yeah, it's a fantastic game. If you play the 360 version, it's great. It is the best version of the game that exists. But yeah, the plot is you're playing as Sonic. He was at the start of the game, he was just doing his own thing, trying to stop Eggman, or Dr. Robotnik if you want to get personal with it. He turns supersonic, tries to take him down, as he usually does, but Eggman detains Sonic, draining all the power out of the Chaos Emeralds, unleashing a powerful force called the Dark Gaia, and the side effect of it was turning Sonic into a werehog. It's the one thing that people hated about the game when it first came out, but it's the one thing I actually thought was alright. Because it balances two kind of different, like they're complete polar opposites of each other. Sonic in Daylight, like Sonic the Hedgehog, he is super fast, does like the homing attack, all that good shit. Then you got Sonic the Werehog, which is more based, like yeah, he may be a bit more slower, but he's more strength, like hand-to-hand combat based fighting skills. There's loads of boss fights in the game, a great soundtrack by Bowling for Soup and loads of other artists. Only downside to the game is the fact one of the side characters, Chip, is very, very annoying, but I had a great time playing this Sonic game, hence why it's one of my all-time favourite Sonic games in the franchise. And it's also backwards compatible on the Xbox One and the PS4, so if you ever get the chance to, I would highly recommend you guys give it a try if you want to give any Sonic game a chance. But yeah, that was 51 to 60 on my top 100 favourite video games of all time. If you want to let me know what your opinion is on any of these games, put it down in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notifications bell so you'll always be up to date with all my stuff. Follow me on all my social medias, which is in the description down below. And I'll see you guys in the next one.